We talked earlier in the show about Donald Trump's changing positions, but one area where he's been really quite consistent is in his flirtation with, openness towards, and sometimes seemingly outright belief in a variety of debunked, implausible, and/or preposterous conspiracy theories. This is a man who effectively launched his political career with a sustained public campaign alleging that the President of the United States was actually a secret Kenyan whose true birth certificate had been hidden away by a shadowy cabal involved in a decades-long cover-up.
You are not allowed to be a president if you're not born in this country. He may not have been born in this country. And I'll tell you what, 3 weeks ago I thought he was born in this country. Right now I have some real doubts. I have people that actually have been studying it and they cannot believe what they're finding.
Trump doesn't discuss his birtherism much anymore, but in his presidential campaign, he's offered a whole new set of baseless conspiracy theories, most recently involving Ted Cruz's father.
His father was with Lee Harvey Oswald prior to Oswald's being, shot. I think it's ridiculous.
He took two pigs, they chopped them open, took the bullets that were going to go and shoot these men, took the bullets, the 50 bullets, dropped them in the pigs, swished them around, so there was blood all over those bullets.
Just the other day, 2 years old, 2.5 years old, a child, a beautiful child, went to have the vaccine and came back and a week later got a tremendous fever, got very, very sick, now is autistic.
I watched when the World Trade Center came tumbling down. And I watched in Jersey City, New Jersey, where thousands and thousands of people were cheering as that building was coming down.
Just to be clear, that's not true. Joining me now, Liam Wolf, managing editor of the conservative website RedState.com, Benji Sarlin, political reporter at MSNBC. And Benji, you had a piece about this, about the kind of obsession that he seems to have with conspiracy theories.
That's right, Chris. This is something that's been going back years. If he can find a conspiracy theory behind something, he'll just leap to it. And one of the most famous examples that's talked about less is that it's not just that he wants to build a border wall with Mexico or kick out all the immigrants. It's that the reason he thinks we need this is because there's a shadowy plot by the Mexican government to push criminals and quote-unquote rapists into America. There is just no factual basis for this. And the source Trump cited when pressed in a debate was, quote, Border Patrol people that he had talked to at the border. That's it. So this gets to a deeper thing. It's not just that Trump has all these often very race-baiting conspiracy theories. It's that it speaks to what he considers a credible source. He tweeted, for example, that a, quote, extremely credible source called him up and told him that Obama's birth certificate was a fraud. After he shared fake statistics claiming that black people were murdering white people at incredible rates, he said, I retweeted an expert when he was asked on Fox News about it. The expert was at Sean252 on Twitter, and he just kept insisting that this was a credible source. You know, presidents have to make decisions often between intelligence sources, between advisors about what they can trust, what's credible, and this really throws that into question in a way that's never been true of a major party nominee.
Leon, let me ask you this, and I should note that you're not Ben Howe, who I on the other night.
Right, thanks. Appreciate that.
Who I enjoyed talking to. There's this whole world of conspiracist, parts of the conservative media. Matt Drudge, particularly, really promotes conspiracy theories. Alex Jones, I said. These are all big Trump supporters. How did this thing grow to be as big as it is?
Oh, now, come on, Chris. First of all, I got to say, polls have shown almost half of Democrat voters are 9/11 truthers. So let's put that out there. But I will grant you that the whole Alex Jones movement thing exists. And, it's disturbing. And I think that it's not really necessarily an ideological thing. I think that it's really more, quite frankly, of an organic brain thing. I think that some people are just predisposed and hardwired to believe conspiracies, and really the less evidence for it, the more they're inclined to believe it. It's almost as though their brain is wired in a completely different way from everybody, the rest of us.
But here's the thing, and you brought up 9/11 truthers, and I remember that truthers were absolutely a visible part of the left coalition, particularly after 9/11. Every event I went to, there were some truthers there. And what happened with truthers was that there was the people that are sort of the leaders of that movement. I mean, everyone from Noam Chomsky to The Nation magazine basically said no. No, we don't want you. We're not going to flirt with you. We're not going to openly embrace you. There was a concerted effort to sort of quarantine and cordon off those people. And I fundamentally don't think the same thing has happened on the right, particularly because Matt Drudge has the power he has and because he loves this stuff.
Well, listen, I'm not in a position to to throw rocks at 9/11 truthers because Donald Trump at this point. But I will say this. The one thing I remember is in 2008, John Edwards was confronted by a truther at one of his rallies. And instead of saying, oh, that's ridiculous, we don't believe in that, he pulled out a notebook and thoughtfully wrote it down, what this person was saying about how the towers fell. And he said, you know, I'm going to get back to you on that. So I do remember some courting of the 9/11
But it
truthers.
was not, they did never, the Democratic Party never nominated a truther. They did not nominate, they did not nominate someone who went around telling the American people that Barack Obama was a secret Kenyan and that there had been a massive conspiracy to hide his true birth certificate, which was a preposterous racist theory. That was the guy's introduction to public life.
Chris, I don't know what to tell you. You know, I feel like I put it all on the mat to stop Donald Trump from becoming the nominee, but here we are. So,
well, Benji, how much of this do you think is actually held views of Donald Trump? I mean, there's lots of things he does that I feel like are performance or shtick or essentially playing for what I think, frankly, he views as the rubes. This seems to me like fundamental to his character. Like, before he was ever in public life, he was into this stuff.
Well, to some degree, it almost doesn't matter how much he believes it or not. You know, we can only go by what he outright says. But I will say, there are cases where it seems to really inform the policy. Now, the biggest example I'll give you is his signature policy, a ban on all Muslim entry into the United States. Now, where did this come from? Well, Trump explained it when he announced it. He cited work by Frank Gaffney, a crazy anti-Sharia conspiracist who spread rumors that everyone from Grover Norquist to Hillary Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin, is part of some wild Islamist conspiracy. And he cited that as a specific reason for his ban, that his research was so compelling. So, you know, the idea that this is just removed and this is just for show, it gets pretty serious when that's his signature issue and he's standing next to this conspiracy theorist.
Leon Wolf and Benji. Sorry.